Good evening and welcome to another installment of the New York Minute Sports Show. The Yankees get swept by the Rays and are plummeting. It's New York Minute Sports. It's New York Sports for New York Nuts. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's go!
It's New York Minute Sports.
Well, there you have it, folks. Welcome to another installment of the New York Minute Sports Show. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Yankees get swept by the Rays, and the Tampa Bay Rays are everything the New York Yankees aren't. They find a way to win with nothing. The Yankees find a way to lose with everything. This falls on Brian Cashman's head and the construction of this lineup and roster. When you have Ahmad Rosario in right field to end the game today, you've lost the plot. You've lost which end is up, and your compass is spinning because the New York Yankees tried to outsmart baseball, and whenever you do that, you get treated the fool. The perfect example is a guy like Gittrick as the fourth outfielder on this team. Somebody needs to tell the brainiacs, the Harvard whiz, and the Yale guys in the front office of the New York Yankees that baseball is not played on a computer screen. Baseball is not figured out from an algorithm. It's from the eyeball test, the gut test, and 140 years of proven baseball knowledge. When you see a guy like Gittrick who has done squat in his whole career on this team, and you pick him above a 23-year-old switch-hitting phenom with a batter's eye, which would put him in the top 15 of all American League, is Jason Dominguez, and you refuse to do that. Ahmad Rosario, Caballero, Gittrick, the list goes on and on of guys that should not be on this team. McMahon is another guy that should not be on this team. The New York Yankees try to get cute and field their team like they're some all-star team. Aaron Boone and the Yankees run their team like it's the American League All-Stars, bringing in defensive replacements. Shit, you should have a full-time replacement for half of the guys on this team. Then I put out the video last night before I got the interview with Jazz Chisholm after the game about the last out. And after my head exploded and I put duct tape around it to hold it together and then got an Uber on the way home from the crazy house after listening to what Jazz had to spew out of his mouth. Listen, we know this guy isn't splitting the atom. We know he didn't go to Dartmouth like Ben Rice. But this guy keeps sticking his foot in his mouth over and over and over. If you missed it and you're living under a Yankee rock, Jazz Chisholm, in an interview after the game, said, I was really going to try and tag the runner and just throw it to first. I don't know what the rule is. If I went to first base and threw it back to second, if it's an out, is it still a double play? I don't know. Does it count as not an RBI? First of all, Jazz, why are you giving a shit about if it's an RBI or not? That is a little league play that anybody knows that it will be a double play. Jazz is the perfect example of what's wrong with today's athlete and a microcosm of the New York Yankees. All talk, no action. All the talent in the world with zero execution. Tough talk without the killer instinct. And that comes right from Aaron Judge. Because Aaron Judge had a big 2-run home run in the ninth inning tonight. Thank God, looks like he's waking up. But Aaron Judge should be laying down the law on this team, and he's not the enforcer guy that we need in the locker room. Jazz's head is in everything but baseball, whether it's texting in the dugout with me last year or making hip-hop videos and designing bags, and then the OnlyFans matter on Twitter in the beginning of the year. Then he comes out and says he's going to go 50-50. Now he's planning a wedding. You can tell Jazz Chisholm's head is on everything except baseball. This guy's got all the talent in the world, but he refuses to hunker down, grow up, and shut his mouth. Jazz Chisholm, I've always said you need to go 70%. You need to swing 70% less. You need to talk 70% less. Jazz Chisholm's at-bats were awful. Did you see Jazz Chisholm's last at-bat of the game tonight where he slid into first after swinging at the first pitch into the ground like he has done for the past 8 games? There is no rhyme or reason to what this guy does, and I see why he was driven out of Miami, why they were cutting his cleats up, because when I first heard that story when Jazz came over here, I said, young kid, hasn't figured it out yet. Good change of scenery. And has he been good? Yes, he's been valuable for the New York Yankees. But now his diva designing bags hip-hop whole shtick is getting really, really old. It'd be something else if he was hitting 280 with 6 bombs and 15 RBIs this season so far with 1,000 OPS. We could put up with all the other nonsense. But now when you look like a glorified platoon player, Jazz Chisholm, we don't have to put up with the rest of this shit, and it's getting old, and the fan base is getting lost on you. You know, I got a lot of shit for coming after you last year when you perpetuated the whole thing, and people were getting on my case. Now people are starting to turn around, and they're starting to hear what I was saying about you last year, how you're a ticking time bomb and you're an ego maniac. And that does never fit in to the description of a New York Yankee. That's not the Yankee way. You know guys that can get away with that? Their names are Reggie Jackson, Gary Sheffield, and that's a pretty short list, and you're neither of those guys. And not to mention, you know, we would always say what a knucklehead Gleyber Torres was, how he sucked at defense, and how he... Look at Jazz. Gleyber Torres started in the All-Star game last year after we got rid of him for the Detroit Tigers. He hit 278. Was he a knucklehead? Yes. But he was our knucklehead. And what do we do to get rid of that knucklehead? We replaced him with another knucklehead. So the New York Yankees now, after their hot start at 8-1, are tied for first place with the island of misfit toys, the Tampa Bay Rays, which is patched together with youth, guys making $11, and over-the-hill veterans. They made the Yankees look like fools today and this weekend. And you know why? Because Tampa Bay plays baseball. The New York Yankees play like a beer softball league. Jim's from accounting, so we'll put him at third base. Trent Grisham is an albatross, and he needs to stop playing like yesterday. You know, I got on the Michael K show and said, I brought up the spring training numbers to him, and he said that doesn't count. But now, with spring training and with this year so far, in 98 at-bats with spring training and the regular season combined, he's got 9 hits, 0 home runs. And they refuse not to take him out of the leadoff spot. You know, you look at a guy like the leadoff hitter on the Tampa Bay Rays like Simpson. That is my wet dream as a baseball player. I don't care if you have any power. Hit me 300, blaze around the base pads, steal bags, lay down bunts, play fundamental baseball. And ever since the New York Yankees got rid of an authoritarian like Joe Girardi, the defense, the discipline, and the baseball has gone out the window for the New York Yankees. And that's the way that their team is designed. When people aren't hitting, they can't manufacture runs. They still have a hard time of running the bases, making contact with the baseball, and their overall defense, and you know what? Energy or lack thereof is sickening. When the front office and Michael Kay and all the talking heads and the people that hold water for this organization who hasn't won anything since 2009 were getting their balls busted about the run-it-back Yanks, and everybody that's watched more than 6 Major League Baseball games knew that the New York Yankees weren't going to replicate what they did on offense last year again this year. And now you see that on Toronto. You see that on Boston. And now you see that with the New York Yankees. It's just not a coincidence that the Baltimore Orioles and the Tampa Bay Rays are going up in the division as we're going down, because the Red Sox, Blue Jays, and the Yankees wrung out every ounce of talent out of the New York Yankees last year. And there is zero protection for anybody in front or behind of Aaron Judge. You also let a guy like Suarez, who was on the Mariners last year, who hit 48 bombs, who walked to the Cincinnati Reds for $11 million this year. That would have taken care of your third base and your power problem. You know what? All of a sudden, the New York Yankees are like, we can't play Jason Dominguez in left because he's okay at left field. You know what? Everybody else on this fucking team is okay at best, and they're glorified bench players. Cody Bellinger, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Ben Rice. After that, it's missing in action like Chuck Norris. R.I.P., bro. And I wish the New York Yankees had a little Chuck Norris in it, because this team needs to grow some balls and get some hair on their chest. Because these guys look like the paper champions. They look like a paper tiger that the wind could blow over. And when they ever have any adversity in any game, they fold like a cheap umbrella. Now, the New York Yankees have a series coming up against the Anaheim Angels, all right? I'm telling you, this next 2 to 3 weeks of the New York Yankees schedule is a goddamn meat grinder. Listen to these teams coming in. You had the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim with a healthy Mike Trout. They have the RBI leader, this new rookie. I forget what his name is, but the Angels are playing good with the leadership of Suzuki, the ex-catcher for the Oakland Athletics and the Anaheim Angels. Then you have Kansas City, who's playing better this year. That's both at home. Then listen to this schedule. At Boston, at Houston, at Texas, home against Baltimore, home against Texas, at Milwaukee, at Baltimore, at Mets, versus Toronto, at Tampa Bay. That leads us to May 24th. The New York Yankees have a month and a half of a meat grinder coming, and there's no easy games on this schedule. And they're going to have to get their shit straight, because the starting pitching is going to start faltering, and it's not because they're bad. Starting pitching is great on this team. They're going to start faltering because it's a law of averages. It's baseball, Susan. That's what happens. The one thing, let's get positive for a second, or let me live in delusion land for a second. The one thing that could happen to the New York Yankees is that since they are all cold at the same time, that they could all get hot within a week, and then it could be guns blazing, because it's like walking through the desert and looking for water in baseball. When everyone's going through a drought, everyone likes to take a big gulp. But this is why baseball is not a sprint and it's a marathon, and you got to take it as that. Because the way that you want teams to get hot and get cold is that you want to stack it and layer it in the batting order, where you don't want everyone hot 1 through 9 at one time. You don't want everyone cold 1 through 9. You want it staggering, 3 guys that are hot at the same time, and then you have a rotisserie of batters. So Giancarlo Stanton's hot one week, Aaron Judge can pick up the slack next week. Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton fall off, now Cody Bellinger can pick up the slack. See what I'm saying? Now they're getting ahead of themselves. They're wearing out their bullpen. The guys that they have in the bullpen, I am not too impressed with. Our closer cannot close out games. The New York Yankees do not have the killer instinct. They lack a leadoff guy. And in my opinion, they lack tenacity. They lack leadership. And I think they're rudderless with Aaron Buffoon, Bubble. Wow. Oh, and by the way, I was asked in the comment section yesterday about the interviews with Aaron Boone. The thing is, if I play anything from Major League Baseball, I get copyright stragged and I get flagged. The only way that I can show videos is if I put it behind a paywall. So it's up to you guys. If you want me to I'll do all the clips in the world on this post-game show, but I would have to charge about $2 to $5 a month. And I really don't want to do that. But if you want highlights, I want to make you guys happy. And I want to design the show to your liking because guess what? I'm here to entertain you guys. Unlike the New York Yankees, I want to put the best foot forward every time I get in front of this camera. So like I said, the New York Yankees going to go up against the Anaheim Angels, who have historically always played the New York Yankees well. And now you got Will Warren, you got Weathers, and Luis Gil going in the next 3 games. Unless the New York Yankees offense picks this up, it's going to be bad news. And what I was saying before, if the New York Yankees get hot and they start hitting, that could stop the systemicness of this hitting this year. Because I think if the New York Yankees bats remain cold for the next 2 weeks, this is going to be the offensive team that we have as the New York Yankees this year. It's going to be the have and have-nots, and we're going to have to hope and pray at the All-Star break that we can get a bopper and some protection in the lineup, and we better hope and pray that the New York Yankees bring up guys like Oswaldo Cabrera, Jason Dominguez, Spencer Jones, LaGrange, Elmer Rodriguez Cruz. Enough is enough. You guys aren't talented enough. You're not in first place enough to get cute with this. The New York Yankees have been getting cute all of 2026. They got cute with the roster construction with a bunch of bench players. They got cute with the bullpen construction. They got cute with bringing guys down and trying to manipulate the clock in AAA with guys like Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones so they don't start the clock on guys like Spencer Jones, LaGrange, or Elmer Rodriguez Cruz. The New York Yankees are a mom-and-pop shop now. We're the St. Louis Cardinals. We build through the farm system. We still act. We have champagne taste with a beer wallet. Okay? We still act like we're the number 1 premier team in all of baseball, which we're not. They're the Dodgers. And the New York Yankees are empty calories. That's what I was saying about the empty calorie New York Yankees. And the only guys that can change this are them. And they're going to have to change it real quick because, like I said, the schedule gets really tough really quick. So no more excuses. No more it's the beginning of the year. No more it's too cold in the Bronx. No more we were playing in a dome against a pesky Tampa Bay team. The excuse train has left town, and now it's on you, New York Yankees. And now it's on you to go over to Instagram at New York Minute. That's NEWYRKMIN on that smoke wagon you call the information superhighway. Put in New York Minute Sports. You'll get my beautiful face all over the internet. Lucky you. And remember, go to the New York Minute Sports merchandise shop. That's that beautiful blue line you see under my face in the video. Click on that. We got a bunch of merch you're going to like. Check out the AL Least line. We got Tampa Bay Rays shirts. We got Blue Jays shirts. We got all types of stuff on there. Check it out, guys. I think you're really going to like it. And remember, if you can't be good, be bad, baby. Good night, Canada. See you in last place soon. Bye.